All right, everybody, hello and welcome. Good morning, afternoon, evening to you, wherever you are in the world. This is TSSZ Plus, and you are watching a very special presentation, Part 1 of TSSZ at Sage 2019. The Sonic Amateur Games Expo is upon us once again, and boy, do we have a lot to get through tonight. I am Lou. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. We have a ton, literally like a metric ton of stuff to go over tonight. 84 games, something on the order of 80 plus games at the Sonic Amateur Games Expo this year, covering both Sonic and not Sonic. There's just a ton of stuff to play and review and see at this year's Sage. Incredible contributions from all throughout the community, and we're going to do something a little different this year. We don't traditionally stream Sage content like this, but tonight and tomorrow night we're doing just that. So over the course of the next 2 nights, we're going to be showing you 28 of the 84 games available for play here at Sage. It is insane to think about. So we're going to kind of do this a little free flow, a little more loose as we pull up one game at a time. You can see that it's pretty barren over there right now, but we're going to get games loaded in just a second here. And I'm going to do my best to sort of describe what each game is about, how it plays, how it feels, as we load up each one. So let's get it started here with one that kind of piqued my interest right away. This is called the Core Engine. Maybe it's on screen right now, and there it is. What is the Core Engine, you ask? An engine written using the first version of Sonic Worlds, written by Nihil, among many others, for use, or for intended use in an upcoming fan game. So let's see if we can go ahead and get it started. I believe we can. Sega! It's compatible with the joypad. That is great news. We have a question here already. Is Loom of a Legacy among the games you'll be playing? Not tonight. I don't believe that's on my list. I have to check if that's on board for tomorrow. We're going to get into the core engine right now, just as soon as I tweak a little bit. As you probably know, one of my least favorite things to do during any stream is to edit the actual stream output as we go. I'm going to do my best to sort of not do that as we continue the night, but with like 80 million games to bounce between, it might be a little difficult. Let's get into the core engine right now. So what's interesting about this, you get your character selection, but I believe, it feels actually pretty accurate to... That's loud, isn't it? This is the joys of doing this sort of stuff on the fly. You kind of have to figure out how it all goes on the fly. So here we are. In our first game of the evening, there's a ring over there that I'm not going to get just yet. Or, wow, maybe I should have gotten the box, gotten past that guy. So the core engine is going to end up feeling a lot like something like Sonic Mania does. More advanced effects, perhaps. That drop dash really shakes the screen. You get your shields. It feels very much like a good old classic Sonic game should. Of course, heavily based on Mania with these assets. This after-image effect is very nice when you get going to a certain speed. No, that's just ridiculous. You can go supersonic. Not sure if we'll be playing with that too much here right now. Some familiar gimmicks, of course, this being just a test, a level. All good stuff. You can see underwater here. And I believe this will give you one of those classic air bubbles to float around in. Just messed around with some of this screen here. You can see the drop dash effect. Just going crazy, obviously. A few little odds and ends to iron out, but not too bad. Maybe we will lead into this a little bit more. Check it out again. It does have a little bit of a long lead time to navigate through the menus and jump from game to game. We have a whole bunch of what do you call it here? Whole bunch of comments here. Wanderers appears from G's stream. Yeah, I like Wanderers. We have the developer of Loom of a Legacy here. I believe, if I can check quickly, Loom of a Legacy, if you want to know who's looking at that for us, that is on tap for tomorrow, actually, I believe. So that should answer your question there. I gotta get the chat up on another screen. So what's interesting about tonight's stream is this is a totally separate setup than anything else that we've done typically here on Plays. That includes things like TSSZ Plays and TSSZ Talks. A very sort of hodgepodge setup to try to get 14 games a night running just like on the screen without looking like a disaster. So that's been sort of fun to try to tackle. Nero the Lombax. Have you ever played Sparks the Electric Jester 2? I think I played the first one. Don't know that I've played the second one. That I'd have to think about a little bit. So in a lot of ways, this does feel like just sort of almost like a reskinning or a lightly modified version of something like the Sonic Mania engine. I'm not sure exactly what makes it different as the quote-unquote Worlds engine, but here you go. Someone out there probably knows that answer better than I do. Can we go super? I guess not, because I bumped into that guy before. And now here we are again. We could probably cheese it over these spikes, right? But we're going to play it nice. We're going to do it the right way. Watch that beautiful effect go by. And that should do it. So, some kernel of promise there in the core engine. Looking forward to seeing more about that one. We do have a lot of stuff in the chat going on I'm going to try to keep track of as we keep going here. The next one we're going to look at is Sonic GT, which is an interesting one that I want to spend a little bit of time on. So let's get that up and running right now. And see what that looks like here. This, one of many running using the Unity engine. We have a lot of Unity-based games here at Sage this year, which is great because they all are nice and super compatible and easy to get running, which is good. Gabriel Gonzalez responsible for Sonic GT. This is, as described on the Sage page, an idea and experiment of carrying over momentum-based platforming into a 3D environment. And I remember this actually being pretty flexible and a lot of fun. So let's check this out on screen right now. There it is. Sonic GT. We're going to leave that title bar up the top for now. Nice title screen, you are right about that. So let's get into the level select here. Radical Highway was a really interesting one that I tried, so we're going to do that one. Mission 1 to race to the end of the highway, and we are off and running. There are, I think, vocal sounds in this, which is kind of cool. And so here you can see, this is Sonic GT. I love the fully 3D fan games that you have here at Sage. They're often very ambitious, very difficult to put together relative to a 2D platformer. And here we are. So one thing that I immediately sort of noticed is the momentum is a little bit stiff until you get going, but then you really sort of take off. You homing attack into it and you just get awesome scenic bits like this. You have your stomp, of course, and that has led to an immediate death, which is great. Very fancy gameplay on my part. Just endless homing attacks here. Or possibilities for it. Get yourself on those rails. And there we go. So here you can just kind of get a feel for how it plays, and you just immediately feel the speed as you start moving through this stage. Built pretty well and sort of handles that incredible speed. Really feels like a very open environment, and you can just sort of tear through like crazy if you play your cards right. Go through one of these guys. Nice homing attack chain there, and away we go. Look at it go! I mean, it's you want to talk speed and sort of very much calling back to that adventure style of roam anywhere, do anything sort of gameplay. This definitely has it, and it's exciting to see that. There you have a little. There's some rolls. You got some slide maneuvers. Just go to bypass some of them if you want. There's our Lightspeed dash. Works really well. Nice and responsive. Puts you on a. I mean, rolling is just immediately responsive, and you can go like as high as you can imagine here. And you just, skip entire chunks of the level if you really want to. Very much a throwback to that sort of, this obviously will remind you of something like Sonic Adventure 2, and that's not by accident. I think I might have, yeah. Let's do it the right way. And there we go. And you just cruise through the stage just like that. And we took a little ouch there. Some dangerous maneuvers.
Bye-bye.
Good voice acting with whoever got these voice clips. I don't know if they sound like Ryan Drummond. I'm not sure if they actually are. Or if someone just did a really good job emulating that voice style. Lightspeed dash again. Getting really nice for keeping your pathing straight as you tear through these levels. It can be easy to sort of lose your place. And just look at the height and the speed you can get with some of these track designs. Oh my god. Just insane. And away you go. It's just no sensation of speed lost here. Oh, that's a fun one. That's a really good one. One thing I have noticed about this one, especially in the Radical Highway stage, a tendency to stick to those sidewalls, which is a little disorienting. Very clean corkscrew here. Falling off the stage just about, but it does not matter, and there we go. A quick clear of the Radical Highway stage here in Sonic GT. Again, a really fun and responsive feeling 3D Sonic fan game here at Sage 2019. We're going to get into another stage here in just a second. I got to see what all y'all are talking about here in chat. Oh, let's see. Lots of new faces in here. This is good. We have a lot of talk about, it looks like those... all of those 3D games from the past, all those 3D fan games. Let's get into one I haven't tried yet, so this will be a blind run-through of, let's say, Hilltop Zone. Let's actually do it this time. And there we go.
Let's rock!
Nice little 3D recreation of Hilltop Zone here. And all of that momentum, you just soar through the entire stage. There's just no question about it. And now you're up on the wall. Wall running feels really clean. I think it does a pretty good job of keeping that sense of control intact as you sort of move around on surfaces. I don't know where that's taken me, so I'm afraid. A really nice open area here. Boost pad not super functional. Some of that stuff is to be expected. We'll just get right over you and keep it going. So this is just homing attack heaven. Reminds me of that one stage in Sonic Colors where as the hover wisp you can just go through it crazy. Wall jumping, a big piece of this, which we haven't done too much of just yet. But you can use it to navigate through pieces of the stage. Here we're sort of just trying to dominate the wall at this point. There's a little bit of that wall jump, and we're off to the next part. Wall jumping actually very effective in this game in particular, allowing you to sort of scale vertical areas of the stage very quickly. Here we can see some sort of hilly terrain that Sonic does not agree with, but we're back up to speed very quickly. Almost reminding me of a flat version of something like Sonic Lost World with some of this level design. Very open, very just fun, smooth planes to run through, which is very nice. Here we just have these endless homing attack chains, which are a lot of fun. Remind me of that one level in Spagonia in Sonic Unleashed, where you're just basically out above the stage, like hundreds of feet above any sort of solid ground, as you just homing attack chain on enemies. Red rings there, of course. And again, just so much stage to go through. And that's an interesting one. You can run upside down, run on walls, run upside down. It does not matter to Sonic. Physics are everything, but physics are also nothing at the same time. So that's a really fun look at Hilltop Zone. And that is a pretty quick look at Sonic GT. Again, we have 12 more games to run through here tonight, so we're not going to spend too much time on each one, unfortunately. So that's going to have to do it for Sonic GT for now. A fun one to sort of take a look at. Let's go on to a neat one, Dream Crafter, which is not a Sonic game. That'll be our first non-Sonic piece of game here on the stream tonight, and actually a really interesting one because not only is it not Sonic, it's a Nintendo property, it's a Kirby level editor to create, you know, fun magical things like you used to be able, or like you would expect on, you know, like Kirby in Dreamland or Kirby's Adventure on the NES, which is a lot of fun. Let's get that on screen for you in just a second here. There it is. Again, bear with me as I drag this around live. It's a little embarrassing to do, but again, with 14, 18, lots of games to play tonight, you know, you have to pick your battles. So let's give you a quick look at how this actually looks here on stream. Again, this is a Dream Crafter created by, or uploaded by Sept, it seems, with a whole bunch of special thanks on its Sage page. Officially described as a 2D level editor based on Kirby. Create and share levels, forge extensive campaigns, and even replace assets with your own art and music, all within a powerful editor that lets your dream platformer become a reality. Lofty goals for something like this, and let's see how we do here. Now, does that look familiar? That's a lot of fun, because it is exactly that. This should look familiar. Anyone who's played those old NES Kirby games, you should feel right at home. Kirby cleaning his way through it. It's very cute, and definitely not something I necessarily expected to see at this year's stage. I can't recall if it's been at previous stages, but certainly a unique idea. Die! Lots and lots of fun. It's also interesting because with all these different games to play, I'm doing my best to sort of keep the controls sort of in mind as I do this. Each game obviously has a very different control scheme. And there you go. It should look familiar, lots of fun. Now let's actually go ahead and show you a quick look at the level editor. So this is what you would expect to see, and you can drag and drop tiles and where Kirby starts, all those different things. We'll give you a really quick look at how that works. Rare Foil, sure hope Nintendo doesn't go after Sage for this. That would be sad. Rare Foil, I hate controlling Sonic with WASD and the mouse. It always feels unsatisfying. When you're used to sort of coming from that sort of D-pad analog world of modern Sonic control, it does feel a little weird grafted onto a PC, although it obviously does happen. The game's been ported to PC, it's compatible with those sorts of things. I will admit, too, it does feel a little more natural with a controller in your hand, of course. So, let's throw down some stuff and give us a little something to play with. We're going to create a quick level right here. So we're just going to like throw a couple boxes in the way. Let's put Kirby over on the edge. We're going to give us some icy tiles to work with. Just like this. You can see that it automatically creates the bulk of a platform here, so you don't have the same tile set just used over and over again. So there, that looks a little cleaner. And we're going to go ahead and put some enemies here, maybe some little guys. Give you an opportunity to drop down here, just to see what that's all about. Give it a little bit of artistic flair, just a little bit, not too much. There, of course, you can die. I wonder if we will actually die. Paper Mario Rider, love the mouse for the game. That's right, you get the little magic wand there, which is really nice. Let's see. What can we put down there? Maybe we'll put some bombs. And some more boxes. And how about some more bombs? Yeah, I think so. And maybe how about some more boxes? I do believe. And then just a bunch of enemies. Like just a bunch of enemies. Like why would you ever go down here? Level of enemies. And just like that, you can go in and give it a try. So not exactly what I expected. I guess if I went back into the editor there, that's actually below the functional point of the game. So that's not helping me too much. That's funny. Anyway, quick look at Dreamcrafter and what the fan-made Kirby editor is capable of. That's pretty fun. But we have to keep moving here because we got, what, like 11 more games to show? Here's one that I'm kind of curious about. I only got to play this one a little bit. Sonic 4 95, Scrambled Eggs. This basically reimagines Sonic 4 as almost like a Windows 95 game or more of a direct Genesis-based continuation of what you would have expected from a game like this. So if it actually did show up more in the Sonic 3 vein and not the sort of throwback that it was, what would it look like? It would probably look a little bit like this. So let's take a look-see. What would that look like, I wonder? It's way too many windows open right now. I don't know what to tell you. Let's crank up that FXAA, crank up that VSync, crank it up, and we are good to go. Built on the Sonic Max engine, let's take a quick look at what this is actually about. That's loud! I don't want it to be loud. And pretty scratchy. I don't know if that comes through as well. I hope not. Uploaded by SoniFoXX, SONIFOXX. Actually, so maybe some not so good news to start this off. A Sonic 4 SE Scrambled Eggs is a fan game attempting to recreate the good old Sonic 4 games in a Genesis Mega Drive style. Unfortunately, according to the Sage booth, the project has been cancelled for multiple reasons, so that is unfortunate. We will give it a playthrough regardless. Let's go. Let's get through Splash Hill Zone here quickly. So here you can take a look at exactly what the game is. Not a fully accurate recreation of the quote-unquote magic of Sonic 4. The spirit's sort of there, but of course not built on the engine of the original trilogy. Rips a bunch of assets from Sonic 4, but sort of isn't a full-on recreation of it. And I did notice that there were some interesting bugs as well. You know, just sort of wall running thing. I think you can sort of just jump against a wall and just not... Yeah, like this is particularly annoying. It seems that whenever you go into a cavern-like area, the music kind of automatically gets soft in the background, which is an interesting choice. So there's a quick example of that. Some sort of wall-hugging mechanics, which I don't recall in Sonic 4. A couple of little graphical bugs. You do outrun the screen a fair bit. Gerbilsoft. I don't remember any classic games having random lines of tiles all over the place. Neither do I. I also don't remember getting stuck here in Sonic 4. I'm just for reference here. We've got the controller. We're moving around. We are just... That's it. So a very... there it is! Again, Sonic 4 Scrambled Eggs cancelled, for better or worse, as I guess the attention is turned to other projects, so there it is. We're going to kind of leave that one be. And on to the next one. So that would be Sonic Islands. This is one that I'm very excited to show. This is the physics preview of Sonic Islands, another sort of work in progress 3D engine. This is going to be pretty cool. I had the opportunity to play with this a little bit yesterday, and I was pretty impressed. So let's take a quick peek at it and show you what it's all about. So we are right into the engine here. And here we are in Sonic Islands. So again, built on Unity. Already kind of a big fan of how it looks. I love that bouncy animation. A lot of squish and stretch in that jump animation for classic Sonic. And then you sort of just run around on tiles and things. Pretty basic in terms of actual, you know, locomotion features. I don't know that there's a spin dash. I don't know that there's too much to it, other than just sort of running around. Here you have some very Sonic Lost World looking spheres that you can kind of run around on. And pretty good looking, if I have to be honest here. Some pretty polished camera collision here already. Physics are appropriate. You can't just randomly climb up that thing unless you know you're in Sonic Lost World and you're in space. Here it's sort of like a boost mode. You can hear that. The air tunnel rushing behind you as you go. So again, really just sort of a base physics test for this one. But it feels good, you know, no problems controlling it. Jump is pretty responsive, camera control is nice. There you go. You know, feels good even at low speeds to sort of just jump around and swing the camera back and forth. This is probably one of my favorites on the night that we're going to take a look at, and again, it's pretty bare bones in terms of what you can do, how much content there is, the actual movement mechanics that you have, but there you go, just running around in loops. You can do this faster and faster. Oh, are you dizzy yet? Oh, and out into the world we go. It's a lot of fun. Get into a little gully here, and it sort of triggers that boost mode up the other side of this hill, and it's really fun. Its core mechanics are really sound. I think just those core pieces of locomotion and control are really responsive. I would love to see a really polished full level with stuff like the spin dash included in this package. Prayer foil. We have to give a shout out to the sexy remix of the 3D Blast Saturn OST. Yes, we do. There's also some stuff in that cavern, so let's take a quick look up there if we can. Before we move on to some other stuff here. So here you just have another tunnel. You sort of have the opportunity to swing yourself around and get some momentum going up and around, just like that. All feels good. And then you're sort of out in this place that I'm not sure you can escape from. Just a bunch of walls hanging in the cavern here. So there's a quick look, an unfortunately quick look at Sonic Islands, just to give you a little information on this one. This was uploaded by Steve Taylor on the Sonic, on the Sage page. You might be able to spin, actually. Let's try that. So it's left button, apparently. So it's a spin, but not a spin dash. So you can just kind of do a roll coming off of hills. Right like that. Which is cool. Some information about this as Sonic sort of rolls around the terrain there. Completely rebuilt from the ground up, the new build of Sonic Islands is an attempt at transferring the physics and momentum-based gameplay from classic games into 3D space. Sound familiar? Currently in an early preview state, this test zone intends to showcase the new physics and the different ways that terrain can affect Sonic, and I think it does a pretty good job of doing just that. Really, really fun. Seems really solid in terms of, again, the core mechanics, and I would love to see this one get a little more traction as it goes on. It's pretty nice. I like that a lot. So we have to say bye-bye to Sonic Islands for now. We have a few more games to go through here. I'm counting something like 8 or 9 by my count. We're going to get into more non-Sonic stuff toward the end of the stream, but we sort of tried to front-load with some of the interesting stuff. Now I'm going to catch up on the chat just a little bit before we get on to the next stuff. Crush 14, it's a pretty sweet remix. Yes, that's right. You should try the previous demo for Sonic Islands. I should, maybe in my spare time. Sage of Magi is right. You can spin and build momentum with it, but there's no spin dash per se. Again, kind of tough to keep all of these in my head off of like an immediate first reaction. So next is John Gags. I think that's how you pronounce it. The Sage 2019 demo. And oh, this is an interesting one. So let's pull this up right now. I'm not sure how to describe this, if I remember it correctly, so I'm just going to let it sort of speak for itself once it loads up here. So this uploaded by Magnum Alpassan. John Gags is a game with various mixed play styles inspired by Sonic, Mario, Marble Blast, Marble Madness, and Crash Bandicoot. Promises a lot, but unless I really missed something here, doesn't really deliver that. I'm going to show you why. So let's get on into it right here and show it to you live. That's my desktop, so maybe don't look at that. And here we are. Am I even pronouncing that right? John Gags Sage demo. Gags. Please help me there. So here's what it is. Space to jump, shift to ground pound, arrow to move. This is what we have. So can't jump when you're running into a wall. That's already interesting. This music makes me feel like I'm in a fever dream also. So controls are, and I mean, I hate to bash on games that, you know, clearly people put some amount of work and effort into, but I don't know, it's pretty slippery, it's not super responsive. I hate that you can't jump when you're holding up against a wall. Thanks for playing the alpha, so that is already it, and just in case you really wanted to drive the point home, we're just going to walk through a wall, and this is the whole thing, folks. The art style has some promise here if it was developed a little more, but honest, and I mean, I don't even know where we are at this point. I mean, can't jump, can't do anything else. Here we are. The obvious that this has a long way to go. If there's going to be any degree of promise or ability sucked out of this one, Maybe some sort of hint of a foundation here, but really, really needs some work if it's ever gonna, pop up here again with any degree of. You know what I'm saying. It's a launching ground for something, and I think it's going to take a long time for us to figure out what that something is, just based on that initial demo there. Here's an interesting one coming up. Project Sonic SMS Remake for Android. So this is a full-on remake of Sonic 1 on the Master System for Android and Windows machines. I want to spend a little time on this one because I thought it was really cool. And I think we're going to get that one loaded up in the background right now. And there it is. And here you go. Look familiar? Way back in the day, I believe, we've looked at Sonic 1 on the Master System and the Game Gear. I think it's like a retro review many, many years ago on TSSZ, which is interesting. And if I go to look at other stuff about it, you're going to get my computer background. So we'll talk about exactly who made this and what it's all about after we play it here. So let's go ahead and get into it. Should sound familiar. And it's super accurate. I mean, this feels and looks and behaves pretty much exactly like Sonic 1 on the Master System. You get some ridiculous speed, usually, when you go nuts on the ramps there and you curl up into a ball. But also just looks very clean at the same time. I don't know that it's an exact one-to-one. And we're dead already. Did it, folks! We are amazing! This is it! This is the whole thing! Alright, back at it. I don't know that it's an exact one-to-one recreation of Sonic 1 on the Master System. I'm sure there's some differences that make it less than exact. But pretty faithful, all things considered, and gives it, a level of maybe polish and an upgrade in presentation that this kind of game certainly hasn't seen in a long time, if at all. So that's pretty nice. I like the idea a lot. We're going to try to get a little farther here and clear a few stages if we can. Get on the log here, right? That's how we do it. Even with the expanded screen real estate offered by widescreen in this modern remake, still kind of tough to see things coming sometimes, especially if you're not paying close attention. That, again, a really clean recreation of that Sonic has passed screen. When we get through to Green Hill Zone, I would love to see Bridge Zone in this, so maybe we'll play it up to Bridge Zone and keep going here. And down we go. It does feel a little more stiff in terms of the base movement controls as opposed to the original Sonic 1 on the Master System did. But it also does feel pretty tight and responsive, so that is good. And I'm wondering, that might be a valid trade-off. It depends on your perspective on that sort of thing. But I think that might be an okay trade-off to make. Not much by way of complaints here in terms of the general control scheme. It feels good, feels accurate to the Master System version, certainly. Maybe not one-to-one, but it is accurate. What was that? Action Man, they added spin and drop dash, is that right? They did add spin dash, it looks like. And that's pretty good. No, definitely not a feature that was in Sonic 1 on the Master System, or any original version of Sonic 1 for that matter. We're just going to take our time here and explore a little bit. Definitely does feel tighter or a little more sluggish than I remember the Master System one being, but it also has been a while since I've played the Master System version. Or honestly, any version of 8-bit Sonic To be honest, it has been some time, and we are at it here. The Chaos Emerald was in that act, I believe you're right, but we're not doing that here, I guess. 7 emeralds? Can't remember if that's accurate or not. And there you see, for the sake of accuracy, the HUD goes away during the boss fight, which obviously, you know, I imagine they took that away for some processing power reason or visibility reason in the original versions, but true to how it was back then, it's not on screen here. And we're just going to plow through this fight here quickly. That was close, but we got him down, and that's pretty easy. We might have an explanation in the chat here. They tacked on the emeralds. There is a maximum of 8 sprites per scan line on SMS and Game Gear. You aren't getting any rings in the boss fights anyway. Sure, there's a reason for that. There's your little saving icon. That even looks really natural. As an addition, obviously the original version did not have that sort of saving mechanism. Here we are. Oh, classic bridge zone. Classic bridge zone. Just like I said. Am I not accurate? Oh, man. One of the most underrated music tracks in the series. Certainly. Gotta love bridge zone. Sampled by, was it Janet Jackson or Whitney Houston or someone samples bridge zone in a song that came out, I think, in the mid-90s. Fun trivia. You never know when you're going to need it. Therefore, it's got the lyrics down. I don't remember who actually sang that. Just missed the extra life. That's okay. And there's... The counter looks like it goes past 100, which is good. I think in the original version it's just a 2-digit field, so it wraps back on itself when you hit 100 rings. Nice shadowing effect so you can see it against the clouds in the background. This is a great one. Definitely one that I can recommend taking a look at again. This is the Sonic 1 SMS remake for Android. I forget what the actual title is. We're into the special stage. Oh god, or the bonus stage, or whatever the hell it's called. There's so many bonuses and things. This just looks so nice. The pixel art, as it's presented here, just recreated so well. The goal is, I don't remember a lot of things about this, honestly. And I should. I really like this game. I spent a lot of time with it. And we're spelling out Sonic. And there's our emerald. Love that. Oh, man. Great rotating effect there. Special stage 1 complete. How about that? I think we're going to spend... Oh, this is the auto-scrolling one. I forgot. I was going to give it a little more time, but I think that should be sufficient for that one right now. So let's... a quick blurb on that. Game program and designed by João Araya. I believe I pronounced that correctly. In the works since February 8th of 2018, version 0.0.1 posted. And it looks like the most recent one on their website, version 1.0.Charlie, 1.0.C, which is nice. Sonic Forces, let's get out of here. Yep, that'll get you out of there, right? That's a quick no, thank you. All right, so here's one that I want to like in theory, but I had a lot of trouble with when I had a small opportunity to explore it earlier. This is called Knight's Realm of Dreams. This is by Hero Art 110, according to their Sage Booth page. Let's go ahead and get that loaded up here so I can show you what I'm talking about. Again, another one built in Unity, so that's nice. Pops right up on the screen. Very helpful. Let's see. Someone says, "Oh no." That's about where I'm at with this. Sonic Forces looking a lot more like Sand Forces. That's right. All right, Knight's Realm of Dreams is a tech demo, keep in mind, for a full Knights game in 3D. The game explores the concept with new elements to fit the third dimension while keeping the core appeal of Knights into Dreams. Choose from 4 Children of Courage to help Knights protect Knightopia from the Nightmaren's chains. Okay. Let's set this up properly and get it going. Okay, so get ready for this again. Lofty goals whenever you try to add something new to the Knights universe, right? First things first, we gotta talk about these kids here for a second. Did someone just say, "Please hurt me, I like Knights"? Hold on, we gotta clarify something here. Hero Art is in the chat. They are the developer. Okay, well we got some stuff to talk about here. Legasafe. I love Knights. Please don't hurt me. Why would I hurt you? What do you call it? We played Knights into Dreams here on TSSZ Plays a while back, and I adore Knights. So no hate here. We love it. So these are certainly models. Red Foil's right about that. I mean, they got eyes. You know what I'm saying? Tech demo. We're gonna keep focus on it as a tech demo here. Confirm it and get into the game. All right, so here we are in Knight's Realm of Dreams, and you can kind of see Sage of Magi. They look like claymation. That is, yeah. That's about right. Not an awful, maybe, direction for a future Knights game to take. This is kind of loud. If you'll give me a second to sort of turn this down. But I need my mouse back, right? Well, you know what? I'm just going to talk real loud. How about that? What is this piece of animation? So it seems like it's some sort of MIDI presentation of the old classic Knights music. Here we can transform into Knights, and this is where I kind of get confused. So you have to hold A, I think, to move around, but it's really difficult to sort of navigate in this space here. You can see I'm just trying to fly straight, and it's tough. The controls seem built to let you fly around in circles easily, but I'm not sure it's working so well. I mean, it's really difficult to line yourself up here. Oh, God. Oh, man. It seems like he only moves... Oh, Jesus. Can I just... Ah, man. So I have a lot of thoughts on this, and it's tough to articulate it while I'm playing. So I'm just trying to... Oh, God, I'm just trying to go up. Like... And now I'm going backwards, and this is just... Oh, God. What's going on? Alright. Alright, so the number one thing that needs some work here is how you actually navigate this 3D space. Knights always flies where he's looking, regardless of what the camera's doing, regardless of where you're actually like pointing things, and it's just very difficult to navigate. Again, I understand that it's like tech demo status. Claymation, not an awful direction for Knights to take. I think there is some promise there, considering it is built to be more of like a kid's dream sort of world, and it's certainly a cutesy sort of angle that it can take. But I can't even get him to fly straight into these links here, so that's not ideal. I mean, maybe there's more to it that I'm missing, but it's tough. Okay. And again, it makes me sad to not sort of rail on games, because I know a lot of the stuff that's presented at Sage is, spare time endeavors, or maybe someone's first attempt at a game, and that's definitely taken into account when we look at these things. But I got some feedback on this one. So that was a quick look at Knight's Realm of Dreams here. So let's talk about this one just a little bit while it's still on screen. I think the biggest thing that it's certainly ambitious. I mean, the controls for Knights really are baked into that 2D plane in a 3D environment, right? And very polished for what they are. For Knights to succeed in 3D, I think you need a much more polished sort of almost flight-based scheme where it controls more like a traditional flying type of game would. Having them only go in like the direction that Knights is facing and locking in to just basically do loops around yourself instead of turning is not ideal. So I think it definitely needs a more polished control scheme, and with some development in the art style, maybe with some sort of claymation-esque look attached. Like I understand the models were pretty basic. Sage of Mage, I have a control like Superman 64. Star Fox, but you don't have guns. Not the worst idea. There's a target to go after. The claymation idea is nice, so I get that the models are really basic and models, we'll put it that way. But the claymation angle might be interesting, you know, as a sort of glittery dream world, a cutesy claymation place, especially for like a young child's dream or the mayor's or whatever, may be an interesting touch. So something good can come of this if it's, you know, really developed and that control scheme is ironed out. But it seems like it's got a ways to go. Let's take this down. And we're going to move on to the next one. What is next here? I can't believe it's not Sonic 1, and neither can you, I bet. This attempts to recreate Sonic 1 in the Unity game engine while adding some new features. Everything is written from scratch. No pre-made Sonic frameworks here, which is interesting. This was uploaded by Hey Joe Way. So we're going to go ahead and load that one up next. Where is it? Here it is. Now then, was my desktop just sitting there the whole time? I don't know. Don't look at my desktop. You're rude. Don't. You're intruding on my space. I don't appreciate it. All right, so here we are. And I can't believe it's not Sonic 1. The full presentation, you know, by now we have seen, there you go, Hey Joe Way. We've seen the whole remastered Sonic 1 thing, but this one, taking it in a slightly different direction here. So let's get on into it, maybe. How do I start? Always a good start when I don't actually know how to start the game. There we go. So, let's take a look at some of these options here to give you an idea of what this experience looks like. Drop dash, spin dash, you have level transitions, smooth rotation, which is nice. After images, smooth cycles, all fun stuff. Let's get into it here. We have some more stuff from Hero Art real quick. I did want to do something different with Knights instead of just copying the same game, but it's obvious that it wasn't ready for Sage. And I think they're all saying it best. Even those really, really formative ideas need development. Have at it a little more and see where you can take it, is definitely my advice. Let's start this up. Oh, and we are loaded in. Can you believe it's Sonic 1? I'm not sure. I gotta figure out how to jump first. There we go. Again, all these different control schemes. So it's pretty accurate. I do notice that it's a little bit floatier in terms of like how far you travel when you let go of the pad, for example, in the air. So you definitely carry your momentum a little more. That's not how it works in Sonic 1. You should be able to run under that guy. Did I get hit by the edge of the spike there? I'm not sure what happened. Well, that's just painful. So, some really nice rotation animation there. You outrun the screen a little bit. I think that should have gotten me a little higher, to be honest. Let's see if we can get into a special stage if there is one. Doesn't look like it, but that's okay. Oh, you can't run off the edge of the screen! No! Immediate thumbs down. And there's your sweet level transition into Act 2. I'm kidding, of course, but yeah, honestly, please. make me, or let me run off the edge of the screen. It can like zoom over to him, and he could be standing just off screen, but I remember people screamed when Sonic 4 wouldn't let you run off the screen. When Episode 1 was first revealed, it was nuts how angry people were. They're like, I can't run off the side of the screen! Sonic 4 is ruined! So it's definitely a touch more slippery than Sonic 1 actually is, but a pretty faithful recreation. Like, I can get through this with very little issue. And there you go. We are here to encourage the projects. We want all these ideas to come to fruition in a really fun and interesting way. So even if, you know, a build of a game or a demo isn't exactly where you want it today, that doesn't mean that it can't get better tomorrow or down the road. And it's you know, with feedback, a great way to keep hacking away at something that you're really passionate about. Sometimes they do need a little more time together, that's right. And you are way off screen there. See how the drop dash feels? Not awful, but we're dead again. So it's an interesting idea, for sure, to sort of basically rebuild Sonic 1 in an entirely different engine altogether. This is where you say it's an entirely different engine altogether. No airplane fans here? Come on! Love the classics. So yeah, there you go. I think that the speed you get and the general feeling of the momentum is just different enough for it to not feel like a genuine Sonic 1 experience. Like I kind of got stuck on the floating platform there. But by and large, as a faithful recreation in an entirely different engine, pretty impressive. No boss fight there, it looks like. And there we go. I've poured a lot of work into this over the past few months, and I think it's paid off well. I hope you all enjoy it too. GitHub. All the good things. Alright. Well, congratulations on that one. I think that's a really fun idea, and I would love to see more of this, you know, just as sort of proof that you can rebuild that Sonic experience in a whole bunch of different engines and make it a whole bunch of different ways and still have it come out positively. I think it's a testament to how well that game design has held up over time. Again, that's created by Hey Joe Way. That's I Can't Believe It's Not Sonic 1. One of many, many games available right here at the Sonic Amateur Games Expo this year. So I understand for our viewers on the actual Sage homepage at 8 o'clock, you should be 8 o'clock Eastern time, sorry, in about 5 minutes. You're going to be turning over to, I believe, Tails' channel, taking over live, so that's great. Definitely stick around for them. Our good buds over at Tails' channel. Getting content for you all week here at the Sonic Amateur Games Expo. That is what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh. Let's see. Oh, now we have some love for Airplane in the comments, in the chat. That's what I like to see. Let's do an interesting one here. Sonic and Knuckles Key Hunters is one that's coming up right now. Oh, let's make sure that I can actually show it on screen properly before we do anything. Uploaded by Ilias3000, I believe. The only fan game that would ever combine the idea of Sonic Labyrinth and the Emerald hunting stages. And I think they're right about that, to be honest. Powered by Gmate, I believe, implemented in Game Maker is the Gmate engine. It's also pretty loud, so why don't I turn that down? Oh, I know you can't see it. We're getting there. I just have to put it up on screen here. Again, the unfortunate thing about having to load up like 30 different games in real time is that I kind of have to do it on the fly, and I know it looks a little ugly and it's not up to my usual standards of quality. I apologize, but sometimes that's what has to happen. So, oh, we have so many of these. Darian G. Official, it feels like these games are going by relatively quickly. That is true. Again, we are covering 14 games per night here. Across the 2 nights that we're streaming here on TSSZ Plus, so to keep it within like a sort of hour and a half time frame, I do have to kind of go quickly to get through all of these games. I do understand that some of them may be going by especially faster than others. Come back here. Okay. Knuckles driving. Oh no, we're all screwed. Yes, we are. All right. Can I set my gamepad? I don't know what any of this does. Press button for switch. Pause. Let's try that again, maybe. All right, let's get into Wood Zone here. Give it your best. Oh no. That is 100% right. So here we are in Wood Zone. I do like that sort of almost bubbly animation when you jump. So yes, believe it or not, this actually combines the idea of Sonic Labyrinth with the Emerald Hunting stages in Adventure 2, which on the surface just sounds ludicrous, right? But there may actually be some method to the madness here. I didn't get to spend too much time with this one. Interesting choice of music in the background, and I think I'm going to try to happen upon one here. You sort of just do get the indicators down there. I think it is the CD jump sound effect. Back into the water we go. What is this music? I have to check the booth page again here. So we're just sort of exploring and getting a general feel for it right now. So there's one of the two keys. I think that was the one I found when I was playing around with this, which means I have a little more work to do. If I'm going to figure this out, every time I think I jump over that, it does not work. So I saw that there were platforms over on the side. It looks like maybe we have to drop down to them to get there. Maybe not. Is there another way to get there, I wonder? He's definitely in that general area, so that's where we're going to want to focus, it seems. Seems like there may be some sort of pipe that gets us there, so maybe that's what we're going to focus on here. So again, this is Sonic & Knuckles Key Hunters. One of many, many games available at the Expo here this year. So here you can see, I'm pretty sure it's below me, but the question is... Oh, by the way, you can pop between Sonic and Knuckles at will, which may help me get over there, actually. Actually is what's going to get me over there, and there's key number 2. So with all of that clear, I think we can go for the exit. Who's saying hey? Ada Gomez says hey. How do I actually exit the level? So I've never actually gotten both keys, so I don't know how to get out of here. Maybe over here somewhere, and that is it. Okay. So there's an interesting idea. It sort of takes the mechanics of classic Sonic, adds in some degree of like the key collecting mechanism of Sonic Labyrinth of all things, and with the Sonic Adventure 2 Emerald Hunting mechanic on top of it, a very interesting combination, if I'm being honest with you. What's going on here in the chat? The music was intense. Yes, definitely is. There's a lot of just loud action going on in this one. Mighty's on there too. How about that? So what's the record with with most splash screens so far? Asks Gerbilsoft. This one might do it. I remember actually noticing that as I was playing through some of these last night. Lots of splash screens. Let's go to Wood Forest here. So there's Mighty's ground pound sort of thing. A slam maneuver, if you will. And it looks like we are just playing as Mighty in this stage. And I'm not entirely sure about the, like, you know, EDM, dance club, techno soundtrack for this one, but that is what we're working with here. I also don't see an emerald counter here either, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Or any sort of, like, identify the emerald, the meter, the gauge, whatever the hell it's called, the thing that flashes when you're near the emerald. It is a rave, yeah, it's an interesting choice. That's how, the radar, yeah, that was. The radar, you know, senior moment. It's, it happens all too often. It's just, you know, you have one of those days where you just struggle to think of words. There's always that, like, one specific word you're thinking of. You can't think of it for the life of you. You said it like a million times in your life, and yet it eludes you. Senior moments start at age 30, lol. Oh, boy. That's not good, because I'm 27 currently, and I'm kind of already having senior moments. Us millennials call it brain fart. So technically, so here's the real question here, folks. When do you classify as a millennial? Like I said, I'm 27, I was born in 1992, and I feel like I just sort of straddle that line sometimes, and I don't know that I fully subscribe to the millennial thing. Oh, we got chat is moving. All right, so that is Sonic and Knuckles Key Hunters, one of the more interesting ones here. Oh, we got a lot of. Oh, like a safe is 34 this week. It's we're all screwed. Let's be honest here. Novaware asks, will you be playing the Toho fan game at Sage? What's that one called? I can check really quickly. That is Noah. Noah will be reviewing that one for us, so that will not be on stream. My apologies. So let's see what else we got here. We have, looks like 4 more games to tear through here tonight, so we're moving at a pretty decent clip. Let's do Poker Panther Chameleon as the next one. How about that? That sounds like a fun one. What's that all about, I wonder? We're going to find out in just a second here. Another Unity game. As it loads up, this uploaded by Crazy Chameleon. Let's go ahead and get that loaded right now. Can you guys stream iOS by any chance? We can, and in the past we have. I'm not currently set up to do it because I don't think that I have any iOS games on my docket. So let's see. We're getting ages of people in the chat here. For a lot of our longtime viewers, especially, we've almost spent years together with these streams, and I have no idea about most of you, honestly, which is interesting. So Rareful is 29, Sage of Magi is 23. So that's interesting. All right, so Poker Panther Chameleon. Yeah, Crush 14 is right. Speed Battle was our jam for a long time, and then I sort of fell out of it. This game was made by Carl Bruggemann, or the music was made by Carl, and this was, again, uploaded by, I think, Crazy Chameleon. A short one-level prototype for an idea inspired by 90s mascot platformers. This is my first game and was made in about a month during my spare time for the games engineering course at the Technical University of Munich. All right, so let's get into it then. What say you? All right. So Y is jump. Sort of like a spinny thing that you can do. So right away you can see. I'd rather go up if it's on the same page. Right away you can see it's almost like a built-in like CRT presentation, which I think is interesting. We get power. I guess we're going to figure out what power does. I like the sort of MIDI sounding presentation. Very 16-bit, very retro. Already a little tricky here. assuming is an all-original presentation, with graphical set, which is nice. You do even gain a fair bit of speed as you run around in these things. I mean, you get going at a pretty good clip pretty quickly. Almost like vaguely reminds me of Bubsy in a way, just in the, how quickly you get going. But this already, I can tell, controls much more tightly and responsively than Bubsy. So we're apparently clear, and we beat the demo, so there you go. So we're getting some questions about the music in the chat here. Again, this was made by Carl Brueggemann. Let's see if we can figure out anything more about that. Super Marcato Bros, composers and podcasters, is where the music seems to be sourced from. Not sure if that makes a difference to anybody, but there it is. I think we'll play through it one more time just to give it a little more screen time here before we move on to our last couple games of the night. So a lot of promise in this one. I like the presentation. I think it's interesting that they go for like a forced CRT thing right off the bat. Definitely gives it a sort of retro feel. And yeah, I mean, you can really just cruise through it. I would really be interested in seeing more of this one. Kind of a cutesy chameleon dude here. Panther chameleon, whatever you want to actually call it. Pretty cute and cutesy in its way. That spin attack is sort of fun. Gives you a way to beat up on enemies. Shadowbane. Not insulting this game, but it does remind me of that SNES-ish Sonic 4 ROM hack. Definitely better than that. I can tell you that much. Much more polished presentation. The controls feel a lot better. If you were to put those two side by side, which I'm not sure is a fully fair comparison, I think Panther Chameleon comes out on top handily in that regard. So there's a quick look at Poker Panther Chameleon. Would be interested in seeing more of that one. Maybe we'll get more of it in the coming months. Well, they say on their Sage page, I hope to one day revive this project and breathe new life into my OC, Poker the Panther Chameleon. Do not steal. Of course, do not steal. 3 games to go, and we're going to save a really big 3D one for last. So I think I have a pretty good order to do this in. Sonic Remastered is the next one we're going to pull up right now. So let's go ahead and get that running. Sonic Remastered, uploaded by Faz Hog Gaming. This project attempts to completely remake the original Sonic 1 with new level design, Game Gear stages, voice acting, remade music, a playable Amy, and more, most of which is not yet implemented. So let's take a look at that. Rarefoil has found the source of that music. I would love to know. And we're going to go ahead and quickly select this game for your viewing pleasure. How beautiful does that look? I know, guys. I know this. You're not telling me things that I don't already know. You're telling me things that are double negative tricky. All right. This fan game is not finished. In-game HUD available. Show me some. Get that out of here. This fan game is also made for non-profit, and the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise belongs to Sega. Press enter to continue. Oh, look at that logo go. Not so simple Sonic Worlds. Now you know where this came from. There's your Faz Hog, F-A-Z Hog Gaming. I don't want to mispronounce it. Oh, and there is some music right off of that. Let's tone that down a little bit. What do you say? That's a little better. Sonic-esque Volume 2 Coconut Hill. There you go. All right. And away we go. Well, this is already interesting. So here we've got the lightning shield. We have sort of like a spherical background going on in how it works. And with some different background elements, and we transition into the cave, well known from Sonic Mania, Sonic Generations. It's like some quirkiness with the tile set. Some collision issues. There's a big one. I'm trying to stand still on this so I can spin dash through. You can't just roll right on the springs, which is a little bit of a momentum breaker. A pretty basic tile set for the ground. Controls are a little slippery, especially in stuff like this with the boss fight, and we are dead, so that's not ideal. That loop needs work, you are right. That you just immediately clunk into it. You can see that the tile set doesn't blend super well. You gotta try Amy Rose. I will, if I can figure out how. Oh, that's a good one. So you just get thrown right into this boss fight. No qualms about it here, folks. This just sort of happens to you. You can just infinitely beat up on the boss, which is nice. And he is down, so that's good. Let's see what else this has to offer. You're out of here. The middies, yeah. I wouldn't say that's an improvement. He just slides away. I wouldn't say that that's an improvement over the original Sonic 1 music, necessarily. Oh, definitely not that title screen, I won't lie to you. That could use a little work there. Alright, new game. I don't know that Amy's actually playable here. I go in a new game and I just kind of get Sonic again. So there's that classic sign, right? Yeah, you can see sort of how basic the tile set is in a lot of ways. There's some layering issues that probably need to be ironed out. So that spring I could just run onto. Other ones, not so much. Sort of a recolored signpost there. I think there's a neat little effect on the rings when you grab them. That time the spring worked, or the loop worked, so I'm not sure what happened there. Let's maybe explore underwater a little bit. Mistake, that's an interesting bounce back. The fish all just kind of come out from the ground there. I think they're supposed to emerge from off-screen and out of nowhere. And there's a lot of underwater for no reason. And no air bubbles, it looks like. Clipping through enemies. I'm not even sure. Maybe you can switch between them on the fly. Maybe. Casually, Moon flies away. Yeah. The MIDI font definitely needs some work. I'm just hitting buttons, trying to switch to Amy, and it doesn't seem like that's happening. Let me check the booth quick. Someone has a comment on the sound mixing. Yep. Again, it says most of these aren't implemented yet, so I'm assuming that you just can't play as Amy just yet in the game. Alright, so I think you've gotten the gist of that one. Sonic Remastered clearly needs some lovin'. Some, even just like basic collision issues, the tile set's pretty simple, all that sort of stuff. If they are going to remaster Sonic 1 like that, I'd also recommend a better sound presentation. Just my 2 cents there. They do have an Amy screenshot, and that's... So it goes. 2 games to go, and now we're getting to some of the highlights here, I do believe. So the first one we're going to do here is one that should be well known, at least in title. Sonic After the Sequel Omega. This is a fun one, obviously, that we're going to get into right now. We're going to load that up quick. Uploaded by Misha World. A quick overview of what is Sonic After the Sequel Omega. Ready to present. I'm just going to read it off of the booth page here quickly, just as I quiet the game down a little bit. It might actually be like a fan game of a fan game. I'm going to put it up on screen for everyone to enjoy here, and then I'll explain a little more about it. Alright, so here is Sonic After the Sequel Omega. a whole team behind this one. This is a nice beat. So, Sonic After the Sequel Omega, apparently created by Compound Games. There's 4 or 5 programmers and spriters. Effects and input. Special thanks to Lake Feppard. So I don't believe that Feppard actually worked on this one, but I'm not entirely sure. They say Sonic After the Sequel Omega is now presented with a new and better look, 16:9 aspect ratio, DirectX 11 support, new and complicated bosses, new sprites, bug fixes, Discord's rich presence support, achievements, new settings, new cutscenes, which are in development, secret game modes, Easter eggs, and so much more. Wow. Well, let's definitely get into this then. Looks like, yeah, some sort of mod or improvement on Sonic After the Sequel. So we'll give it a level or two to sort of show you what it's all about. With some fancy presentation elements, maybe. Like Feppard presents. So there's your sort of the explanation. And away we go, maybe? Not quite. Alright, let's get into it, man. We got Sonic After the Sequel Omega to play. I don't know what start is, so we're just going to mash buttons to the works. As is often the case with a lot of this stuff. So again, I imagine that this is probably the whole thing, or close to the whole thing. We'll give it an act or two just to sort of show you what it's all about. There again, I think is the Sonic CD jump noise. It's popular around these parts. All pretty good stuff, though. You see, it's all controlling well. It all feels really good. It's responsive. All the stuff you'd expect here, right? Again, the nice sort of take on Sky Sanctuary, and here we go into Supersonic with a nice variation on the music, already intact here. I really, really enjoy, actually. Oh, don't kill me. Absolutely not. And look at him go. It all just sort of happens, Actually, really kind of... Taking all this in, you can see Tails and the Tornado there in the background. We are just cruising on through. There you go. Rare foil. I honestly have no idea what's in the original and what's in the mod. That is a point that could use some clarification, I think, especially for people who aren't well versed in Sonic After the Sequel. And away we go into Act 2 here. I think you probably can expect it to be pretty faithful to the original game if you look at it that way. There's what I can only sort of refer to as the spike shield. I'm sure there's an actual name for that I'm not remembering. As is often the case, nice hidden loop there. All the good stuff appears to be intact here. Crush 14, the music for each act sounds amazing. You are 100% correct, and definitely no surprise on that. Absolutely not. So again, just sort of a quick look at what goes into basically this almost remastering of Sonic After the Sequel, known here as Sonic After the Sequel Omega. All of those improvements listed in its Sage booth. A relatively large team that worked on this one, as I recall reading. And there's a quick look at it. Again, the whole thing available on its Sage page. So there's your quick look, and now we roll on, pun intended, to our last game of the evening, a non-Sonic game, and that is going to be Mega Man X and Zero Training Missions. A very elaborate one that I really sucked at when I played it, so we're going to see how that goes. So here we are. Let's get it up on screen. Mega Man X and Zero Training Missions. In the time between Mega Man X3 and X4, witness the grueling training that prepare X and Zero for the next Maverick outbreak. I'm not exactly sure how much of this there is. I'm going to do my best to sort of give you a look at how it works. I almost need the controls up on a separate screen while I play. So let's go ahead and get into it. We have a few stages here. So let me run through the controls quickly before we get too far into it.
Teleport complete area. Ending transmission for now.
So, you know, full 3D presentation here. This is a whole thing. So how do we do this? We're toggling lock on with Y, which we will need in a little bit. And we're hit already. I'm not good at this. That much should be known. Let's try to actually put forth a decent effort here.
Teleport complete area. Ending transmission for now.
Lock on is really, really key. So again, a fan game that it looks like is supposed to slot in between Mega Man X3 and X4. We are going to do our best to sort of make this look good. Again, pretty nice presentation here. Fully 3D. Nice and already pretty polished looking, if I do say so. Oh. Probably don't touch those guys. I'm gonna die! You can't die. There's so much more to see. How far down can he go, you wonder? Well, we'll find out once we actually beat everybody in here. Alright, here's where it gets interesting. Maybe, like it's not interesting enough already. Oh no, I saw it coming too. Alright, so now that I'm really actually getting a feel for it, we're going to spend a little time with this one to sort of wrap up, because again, it really is
ending transmission for now.
Pretty well presented, all things considered. There's our little boosty thing. Actual Mega Man fans will like crucify me over not knowing all these terms. I need control of the game wrestled away for just a second so I can get chat up here. Oh, lots of thoughts on this one. Looks like Mega Man Legends. Have you played Sonic GT? Asks blah, 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 blah. That was like the second or third game we played. That one was a fun one. We did want to put a little bit of emphasis on the 3D Sonic fan games here, because those are pretty fun and often do take a fair bit of work. All right, so we're gonna keep it going here with this one. Give it another go. should actually make sure, because I have so many windows up at once, it's tough for me to see if things are actually on screen or not, and they are, so that's good. Alright, let's make this happen here, folks. Back to my controller, and let's see how far we can get this time. The lock-on targeting does work pretty well in terms of actually nailing your target when you're reasonably close anyway. Let's get down there and on to the next challenge. Now we're talking. Oh. Gotta watch those spinning laser things. Actually, the technical term for them. That's how they teach it in school, you know, the lasery things. Alright, we can take maybe one more hit here. Here we go. Little finicky with the lock-on sometimes, and that's it! No! Alright, we're gonna give this one more go. Just because now I'm annoyed, I want to get a little farther.
Ending transmission for now.
God, that thing is right on your butt, huh? So far, so good. And that kind of is the whole thing with Mega Man, right? It's tough, but you get a little farther each time. At least that's how I remember those old classics. Ugh. Tough hit. Doing all right here. Want to make sure that we don't get caught off guard by too many projectiles. That's the key thing here. I'm just going to get hit by those laser things, so who cares? Should be it for us here, and it is. Let's give that laser some time to clear. And we move on. We're in a little better shape going into this part. They are durable. Got one more guy to take down here. And we are good. I think we're good. Nice. Remember your charge shot. Ah, what's a charge shot? Who needs it? All right, so we are good there. So that's a quick look at Mega Man X and Zero training missions. Actually, pretty polished. I like it a lot. It's the controls are responsive. The lock-on can be a little finicky depending on if it goes out of range, if you keep tabs on it, and it's pretty tough to at least wrap your head around for the first couple of tries. But clearly, we did make it through. That one's really promising. I would love to see. That is damn gold, that's right. I would love to see more of that come up. I think that was just even a prototype build as well on its site here on Game Jolt. Version 1.1. Again, prototype demo, which is really cool. It looks like 3 stages in that, so that's pretty good. Worth a look. Definitely worth a look here. So, coming up on, well, we are at 8:30 p.m. That's going to do it for us here tonight. So here's, well, not a chart shot. So here's what we're going to do, folks. That's going to wrap it us. Blah, blah, blah. Too many games, too much talking. It's starting to wear on me now. That's going to do it for us here tonight. Tune in tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for a continued look at the games here at the Sonic Amateur Games Expo 2019. We have 14 additional games. A lot of the non-Sonic fare we're going to do tomorrow. So make sure to tune in for another 14 games tomorrow night. And then this old boy's off to Comic-Con starting on Wednesday and producing content there for all 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. How do I do all of these things? I am like, this is a ridiculous week. But we're plowing through just the same. Again, tune in tomorrow night. A big thanks to Neo Hazard and everyone over at Sage for squeezing us in on their calendar last minute into the 7 to 8 p.m. time slot tonight, Eastern Time. Really appreciate that. And go watch, I believe, Tails channel is now streaming live for the On the Main Sage page where you see the streaming content embedded, so definitely go check that out. And keep it on Sage all week long for as much content as all of us can possibly throw at you. We will not be hosted on the main site tomorrow, but we'll be doing a stream anyway at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to tune in. This is TSSC Plus, and you have been watching part 1 of our Sonic Amateur Games Expo footage, content, but I completely lost my train of thought there. We're playing Sage games. We're going to do some more tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Whew.